I'm having serious issues with my corruption of video files today. Happened on the first video, it's now happened on this one. So you get another weird smash cut. We're going to be talking about Blue Beetle today. We'll talk about bizarre projections, the Blue Beetle director, his thoughts on BANE, transplanting that onto the villain of Blue Beetle. I mean, it's all a pile of absolute nonsense. He's also recently come out and discussed his Blue Beetle trilogy, which well, that's what he wanted to do, just as an FYI. It's not going to happen. Which I'll leave linked above. And now, smash cut. Somewhere up there anyway. But also, he did an interview where he was sort of discussing BANE. You know, BANE. And, of course, you know, the origin of BANE. Sort of a Matador style, Latin America, whatever. I mean, it was a made-up place anyway. But weird mass projection. Mass projection about how, essentially the origin of BANE is all about the Latin American, being held under and pushed down and, of course, oppress me, press me harder, daddy, all that kind of stuff. And the BANE creator has come out and said, not strictly true. So let's take a look at this because this is funny. And if this is anything to go by, this is the quality of film we're going to get, which is it is massively unfortunate. But also the reason why this was discussed was because the director had initially gone to Warner Brothers to pitch a BANE movie. And good God, I'm so glad they didn't allow it. Because if this is anything to go by, that movie, I mean, it is anything to go by because it's literally what he thinks of BANE. It would have been atrocious. It would have been utterly shambolic. So let's take a look. Hit subscribe if you're new here, folks. I know you want to be here more often to see my chipper little face. Like a cherub. Turn the bell notifications on. But I also do a podcast, which you can find linked in the description box. There's a whole second channel for it, Mistake Reviews Live Archives. You'll love it. It's really good fun. It's, in fact, most people's favourite podcast. So check it out. Anyway, let's take a look at this. So this is absolutely hilarious. The BANE creator himself reacts to Blue Beetle's director claiming that the character represents American interventionism in Latin America. You'd think that the creator of the character would know a little bit about it, wouldn't you? You'd think. So anyway, the BANE creator Graham Nolan recently shared his thoughts in regards to Blue Beetle director Angel Manuel Soto claiming that the DC villain represents American interventionism in Latin America. And I really like BANE. I think BANE's a very interesting character. So, yeah, I genuinely do like the character of BANE. So in a recent interview with The Playlist, Soto shared his thoughts on BANE while promoting the upcoming Blue Beetle film. I mean, can you imagine? This is him promoting Blue Beetle by getting it absolutely unequivocally terribly wrong with BANE. Well done, mate. But he detailed that DC pitched him on Blue Beetle after he came to them with a BANE movie. And obviously, they were like, no. Stay well clear of BANE. No. Which I like. And they were just like, nah, have this guy instead. We don't care about Blue Beetle. So Soto shared, as far as BANE goes, the comics that are about BANE's story, it felt like he's very misunderstood. Much like Carapax in the movie. He is a product of his environment, and that history has been buried. The history of the Caribbean, the Antilles. It's a history that's brushed off in history books. So for me, it was very important to be seen. And just more fucking lecturing. And with the character of BANE, the formation of this villain, I think in his own right, he's also a hero in his story. I mean, most villains are the heroes of their own story. The best kind of villain is the villain with conviction. Because truly, there's no reasoning with them. They absolutely unequivocally believe that what they're doing is correct. Anyway, so whatever happens at the end that might have gotten distorted because of what was done to him, I think that what he represents is a lot of the unknown or forgotten or brushed under the rug history of interventionism in Latin America and the Caribbean. Fuck off. Later, Soto went on to reveal he took his view of BANE's backstory and applied it to Carapax. So, the villain of Blue Beetle. So, look forward to that nonsense. He then explained why he believes having this part of a villain backstory is so important. Because we need it. When we're introduced to the world in the movies, right where we are seen as villains, it's just given that we are born that way. And when we talk about the history of Latin America, nobody dares to question, well, what happened before? Okay, well, what happened before? More times than none when you go back even before 1954. But if we want to go to 1954 in Guatemala, it was US interventionism that drove these places to the miseries that they're in. Okay. I mean, sure. So I'm not embarrassed to talk about it. You should be embarrassed, mate, because you're doing mass projection here. History is there. Nobody's trying to blame something. You got TDS as well, so your weird rants on Twitter, you are trying to blame people. Nobody's trying to say, it's just like, hear us out. This is our story, and you know what? We can heal together. At the end of the day, we can all heal together if we recognise the stuff that has happened in the past and lift each other up in a way that I feel the Reyes family lift each other up. It's like welcome to our stories in the same way that we're welcome to other stories. Welcome to our stories, and let's have a dialogue. It's beautiful. What an absolute load of tosh. And basically he was tagged in it, the creator of BANE, and he goes, yeah, well, that's a load of horseshit. Love it. Absolutely love it. And then said it again. Yeah, too much personal projection. He's correct in that BANE is a product of his environment, but the socio-political extrapolations he's making were never considered during BANE's creation. I love this. I absolutely love it. Well done, Graham Nolan, creator of BANE. Well done. Could not care less. No, what you on about? Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, love it. Absolutely love it. You know, he's done good stuff in the comic industry, Nolan. But yeah, Angel Manuel Soto. The thing about this is it doesn't bode well because he's transplanted that belief of BANE. His perspective of BANE is now the backstory or the impetus behind the now villain of Blue Beetle. So he went to Warner Brothers with this BANE pitch. They heard that and went, F no. Strong hell no. Have Blue Beetle instead, because obviously we don't care about him. And he's then gone, right, well, I'll just reuse all of that. One, it's lazy. It's recycling crap. But secondly, that's not a good sign. You know, all villains should have conviction, for sure. But goodness me, this is dead. This is going to be dead. I mean, it's projected $30 million opening weekend. That's awful. If that's the standard box office drop-off of a DC movie, I mean, this movie will struggle to make back its tiny $120 million budget. It will. This will be Flash levels of bad, if not worse. Not good. Anyway, cheers, guys. Drop your thoughts down below. Take care.